Welcome back. We continue to discuss one Bahamian's fight with the government over Crown land located on Paradise Island. I'm joined by keeper of the Paradise Island Lighthouse and Beach Club, Toby Smith. And earlier we spoke to the Minister, Toby, the Minister of Tourism and Aviation, Dionisio Diagala, about this issue to get his take. Here's what he had to say by telephone. We spoke to him on the Lighthouse issue. Here's what he had to say.
So, obviously, everybody keeps focusing on the fact that Royal Caribbean is foreign and Toby is Bahamian. But you got to say, why do you think the government is reluctant to conclude the deal with you over Royal Caribbean? And everybody thinks, oh, we love foreigners over Bahamians. And that's not the case. The Royal Caribbean deal is attractive to the Bahamian people because it seeks to create a number of entrepreneurs in a number of areas to service this thing that they're going to build. That's my view.
That's a noted point. He had said that the government had signed off on him for originally, but it's now going back on it. Is that true?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, Toby has a lease. Toby has a lease. I mean, the government gave him, he's going to say it quite bluntly, and he's absolutely right. The government sent him a lease and just said, here's the terms and conditions. He signed it and sent it back. And in that process, while that all went on, Royal Caribbean popped up and said, look, we've already bought all this property on Paradise Island. We need a piece of Colonial Beach to finish off our project. Would you mind doing that? And this is what we're going to do for the Bahamian people. And it's an attractive proposition. And so that caused them to pause. Now, what we would love for Toby to do, I mean, clearly, if this was me or you, I would say, okay, I do my lease, and I go to Royal Caribbean and say, okay, now we can work this out. What you can do for me. It's a very harsh environment over there. And you got to work bloody hard for a long time to make it work. It's harsh. And you got to have some long dollars. Toby talks, and then my final point is, Toby, what experience do you have in this? You always say that your claim to fame is that you were successful in your financial business. But this is a complex business with lots of moving parts. It's going to require investment. It's going to have setbacks due to weather. It's a harsh environment, so there's lots of, this ain't as easy as he thinks it is.
All right. And I must say, one of the things I appreciate with Minister Diagala is he can say whatever it is.
He's real.
He's real. And I admire that. Some cabinet ministers would have prettied that up, covered it up, even lied. Spun it. He was real. He said, listen, we signed an agreement with him, and then we reneged on the agreement because the sweet deal came along with Royal Caribbean. And that's the reality. The reality is they had an agreement with you, then Royal Caribbean came along and said, no, we want to do something at the same place, but we'll spend $80 million with you. The government obviously said, well, let's think about this. $80 million, and that means that they have $80 million invested in New Providence. They can't pull out of Nassau as a cruise port because of this. So we can tie them to keep in business in New Providence.
Right.
They say they're going to provide opportunities for entrepreneurs, so that's more Bahamians who can have businesses tied to Royal Caribbean. So as far as the government is seeing, this is a far better investment to impact more people than perhaps your proposal. And that's why they felt no ways in reneging on their promise, because they believe that this is a better economic package for more Bahamians than what you perhaps are proposing. Your response?
My response is thank you very much, Minister, for qualifying it into the public domain that I have a valid lease. So, Carl Bethel, stop your lying. Yeah, your defense is that I drafted the lease and I proposed the lease to the government and the government decided not to accept it. So check yourself with the truth. Thank you, Dionisio. Dionisio has been an avid supporter. He has taken interest. He's been very real, very genuine, and I appreciate that. So let's get down to the facts, right? He's saying that I need, you're always talking about long dollars and what experience do I have? Let me ask this. What experience do you have with a prime minister that's looking at female private parts all day, right? To be a prime minister of this country.
In other words, he's a gynecologist.
He's a gynecologist.
You'll try if we can bring lawsuits. He's not looking at pornography. He's a medical doctor.
Right. So he's a medical doctor in a specialty of gynecology, and then they're asking me what experience. That question should have been asked before they agreed with a lease for me. And they did ask, and I satisfied their answers because they obviously gave me a lease. Right. Exactly. They also said, what experience do I have? Oh boy, if I got to spend 9 years of begging, right, I could have already shown them what I could do with this property, right? And they're saying, what experience does a Bahamian have with hospitality? I mean, come on, man. Come on. So what experience do I have? I'm a boat captain. I was a duty officer at Basra saving lives. I can do construction, mechanical work. It don't matter. Go look and see what's happening over there already and go see it. And you want to tell Bahamians how we could operate a beach club? I know many successful Bahamian beach clubs, but I want to be able to start. And they're putting and keeping their foot on my neck from starting. And they don't want to take a risk on Bahamians. They say, man, Bahamians want too much. Bahamians always, or with a foreigner, we could kick him out, we don't like him. And I'm for that. So I'd like to know, who's the person at Royal Caribbean that decided to go and buy 13.5 acres of private residential land, right? And then Johnny come lately, wait all these years to then say, oh, now we want Crown land. Put some responsibility on RCL, that someone at RCL messed up after having, after having buying all that residential land to now being saying, well, now we need the Crown land. Sorry, it done, right?
So I'll ask you the question of the elephant in the room that I'm sure most people who are watching perhaps will be asking. Should the government pass up an $80 million investment that can provide jobs and entrepreneurial opportunities for business owners to your venture, which may not be able to match that?
It's no longer a question of passing up on the opportunity. Right? They have to honor my lease. So if they want us to coexist, they could do whatever they want over there. But as it is right now, you've got these Royal Caribbean pirates that are coming into town, trying to invade on territory that is already a parcel that's included in my lease. So if RCL want to go over there and do a water park and Bahamians don't mind them doing it or whatever they want to do and ruining the landscape of a natural environment that we got over there already, and they think they can get over the hump of changing it from residential to commercial and pumping all their sewage into the ground and all the rest of it, that's for Bahamians to decide. But what I've seen of Royal Caribbean on Crown land in the past, specifically Coco Key that they've renamed from Little Stirrup Key, right. They've taken away its identity. Number one, they're calling it something else now. Right? Number two, the jobs that are offered over there is cleaning toilets, landscape maintenance, and picking up the garbage. When the ship pulls in, they have all of their foreign workers filing off the ship with all of their food and all of their chefs and all of their bartenders, and Bahamians that can do those jobs have to watch all this going on. And I disagree with that. So they're already applying for 20 work permits, or they have approval for up to 20 work permits, right? So what would you rather? Would you rather $500 million in revenues over 10 years invested in a Bahamian company, or $500 million in revenues with a foreign company, but after the foreign company makes that $500 million, most of that gets shipped out of the country to foreign shareholders, or that stays within the Bahamas to provide jobs for people in banking, because it has to go through the banking system, and people with their mortgages, and people being able to pay Bahamian school fees for their Bahamian children, and it circulates around the economy many, many times. Or that money goes straight out of the country to foreign shareholders. I think that Bahamians are not stupid, and they get it and they understand it.
What has the government proposed for you to do as a compromise to this deal?
Nothing. They told me my lease ain't valid. My stuff, all the agreements that they have ain't valid. There's no compromise.
Are they offering you another portion of Crown land over there?
They tried to, Carl Bethel on the 27th of February 2020 trying to shove it down my throat, saying this way I couldn't even sit down in the room before he'd already telling it. It wasn't a negotiation, it was him telling me, we pushing you down, and they trying to push me down the Honeycomb Rock.
Right, they want to offer you another piece away from the prime beach spot.
Yeah, and then they said that the RCL will be wandering down. I don't want people to wander down. We've negotiated to arrive at this spot, and you've offered me a lease. We've agreed at this spot. What they want, Clint, is to put me around the corner on Honeycomb Rock, right? So I'm out of the way. And Carl Bethel even said it in the meeting. What happens if a Bahamian was to smuggle a limpet mine and give it to a tourist, and they smuggle it on board the ship? What a security and international hazard that would be. Come on, man, you're way out of line. So I have a lease. Dionisia has already confirmed I got a valid lease, so let's sip some tea. Cheers.
We'll be back right after this.
Basketball is back, baby, and so is NBA League Pass, only with Rev Trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free, along with incredible prizes including a brand new 50-inch smart TV, NBA gear, and more.
With tons of prizes and gear, signing up for Trio is the best on and off-court move this year. Just call 601-8992 or visit www.rev.bs/promotions/trio.
Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free.
Join us at any of the following services: Kingdom Glory Sunday service at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m.
The body of the man is really the vehicle that carries the soul and the spirit. Man is a spirit, has a soul, and lives in a body. Gates with thanksgiving. Enter his courts with praise. Here it is. Be thankful unto him. The world can do that, but there's a veil. And the only way you can pass that veil is by accepting him, because he is the one who gives you access into the holies of holies without interruption.
Rima Midday every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Stream with us on ILTV every first and third Monday at 8:30 p.m.